Hello everyone, Karen Glasser here, and welcome to this episode of Connecting People, Changing Lives. And I'm here with my amazing cohort and co-host, Nancy Ferrari. Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
Good morning, Karen. I'm doing so well. It's so nice to be back with you again. And you and I have had a very busy 2016 so far. So we'll get together. It's always a celebration. And speaking of celebration, this is my 6th year of stepping into media. That's when I started the Nancy Ferrari show. And there's no coincidence that our guest, who people can see in the bottom part of here, is a guest that was one of my first. Somehow we connected, and he has left an impression on me since then. And I'm so excited that as I have evolved within my work, so has he. And this gentleman that we have with us today is Hogan Hilling, and he is joining us here from also Southern California. And he is the parent of 3 children. He's the founder of the DADLY rally. He'll share more about that. The author of 8 parenting books, and mind you, 6 years ago it was 2 books, and love them, and I share them with my daughter and her husband, who now have 3 children, and I've seen such a fathers embracing fatherhood, and that's what we're going to be talking more about. But the books include the Dad's Behaving Dadly book series and the Dadly Way: 10 Steps to More Active Fatherhood and Equal Parenting. Hogan has also appeared on Oprah, yay, and helped establish several fatherhood networks in the United States since 1992. Hogan, as I shared, joins us here from Southern California, and I welcome you to Connecting People, Changing Lives. Good morning, Hogan.
Oh, good morning. It's great to be back. It's hard to believe 6 years have passed, and I'm so excited that you're still doing your show. Thanks for having me.
And as Karen and I know, when you do what you love, it's not work. And with each and every connection that we have, it not only helps us to share your message, but you fuel me and what I'm observing what's happening in the world, especially with dads. And you have a great story I shared before we went on air, how this all began for you, your observations. And I do retell your stories, but I'm going to let you tell yours.
Well, it really goes back to my reunion with my dad. I grew up without a dad. His name is Hank. My mom never talked about him. And you can imagine as a kid the pain that goes with going home and not having a dad around. People asking you, where's your dad? And I don't know. Well, when I was 29, I had the luxury of reuniting with my...
Oh, no. Frozen.
What's that?
Okay, we are losing you, Hogan.
Little freeze up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, let's continue on. And for
going.
our viewers, this is technology, and Karen has taught me we're only as good as our technology. so it's kind of like when you watch mainstream TV, it pixelates. Yeah. So let's carry on for a little bit. And
okay.
I learned a lot from
Hopefully technology will fix itself.
Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. All
right, so I was reunited with my dad, and when I met him, I got to hear his side of the story. And he tried everything to get in touch with us. And he finally gave up. And so I was very grateful that I had the reunion, and it actually turned into a happy ending. So one day we were sitting together, and he started crying, and he apologized. And at that particular moment, I realized that he missed me more than I missed him. So I was really able to grasp his side and his pain. And when I recognized that, I'm going like, oh my God, we don't think about what dads are feeling. We only think that because my dad's not here that it was his fault, et cetera, et cetera. And so I made a pact with myself that if I ever became a dad, that I would do 2 things. One, that I would never let my kids ever live without an involved father. And secondly, it was for selfish reasons. I never ever wanted to feel the pain that Hank felt. And so it started then, and then in 1989, my wife and I gave birth to a child that was born with a genetic disorder. And I don't know how to tell you this, but I think it's just, again, it erases the stigma of men as dads, is I made a connection with that child. And when I heard about the disability, I mourned it, I cried. And then I realized, you know, that's my kid. I have to live up to his expectations of me. And I just naturally bonded. And I'd be honest with you, when I look at Wesley, I don't see the disability, I just see Wesley. And I think that connection with Wesley, I developed a passion and said, boy, I'm getting so much out of putting myself into this child, and also to my youngest son at the time. And then I made a very, very unconventional decision. I decided to be the at-home parent, and it was only supposed to be a three-year plan. To be honest with you, I loved it so much. I went to my wife and I said, look, if we can continue living on one income and you feel comfortable with this, I'll take this on. Well, lo and behold, I did it for 20 years. And by the way, my three kids are still breathing and they're alive. Okay. So, but anyway, yeah. But during that time, I started journaling and started writing things down. I mean, what guy writes a journal? You know. So I guess I just started writing my feelings on paper and all the wonderful things that were going on, and that turned into my first book. And then I started doing volunteer work to try to help connect dads, and I worked for an expectant dads class at one of the hospitals, and I got to know more dads who signed up for these classes, and I just developed a passion just to bring dads together, and I learned so much from them, and so it led to another book, and up to date I have 8 published books on fatherhood. Wow. And I really enjoy it. Like Nancy said earlier, this is not work to me. I'm so passionate about it, and I will be honest with you, it's a daunting challenge to teach our culture to erase the stigma of men as dads, and there have been times when I wanted to quit, but I didn't because of the dads. I would get emails, I would get dads coming up to me and say thank you, and I'm going like, I can't stop. I have to keep doing this.
So Hogan, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about the myths of dads as parents and how you are dispelling those myths. What do we think of when we think about dads as parents? What have you run into?
First, the big thing is trust. We really don't trust men to take care of kids. I mean, you go to a playground, and if you see the video where they talk about where kids aren't supposed to approach strangers, we've actually set our kids up, and we set moms up to think this. If you look at those videos, why is the stranger always a man? Wow, true. That's true. I never thought about that. Yeah, and also if I was to go to a playground and if a man were to walk on a playground, the immediate assumption would be that that guy is a threat. If a mom walks on a playground, we'll assume that she's with the kids. There's other subtle messages. One other message is when I talked to the dads, I said, you have to take responsibility for changing the stigma as well. And I would ask them, I said, have you ever hired a teenage boy to babysit your kids? And most of them say, no, I won't do it. I won't trust them, especially with a girl. That's kind of sad. Yeah. I have hired teenage boys, and I know 2 of them who did a better job than some of the girls I hired. And that's no disrespect to that gender. It's just that it's not about gender. You should interview teenage girls and interview teenage boys, and we're not teaching that to our culture. If you look at one of the commercials that they put on TV, it's called, I think, caregiver.com, and this is how subtle the messages are. They show a quick photo of all the people that are listed that you could hire as babysitters. Not one of them's a guy. Right, that's care.com. I'm familiar with the site, and it's all, you're right, it's all women. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then also the other message too is that we have bought into this whole idea of father absence, that most people really think they're more irresponsible than responsible dads by the way they're behaving and the way they talk about men. And the opposite is really true. They're more responsible dads. We don't focus on all the positive things that they're doing. It seems like we're always beating down that they're inept, that they're not capable. I mean, I talk to moms, and they tell me they have conversation with other moms and say, where are the kids? And they'll go like, well, I left them with my husband for a few hours. And the response that you normally get, you go, how could you do that? Yeah, you know, either whether it's humorously or seriously, like, you know, why? Then, you know, for the moms, there's also that kind of the guilt factor where they go like, oh my God, you know, why am I leaving my kids alone with my kids, with my husband? And so there's all these mixed messages that are going on, and I think the difficult part is that they're not mindful of what these mixed messages are doing to create behaviors that continue to send out that men are not capable, to the point that men have actually bought into it.
It's perpetrating. It's perpetrating.
Yeah, I just one other point. I have had men come up to me and go like, Hogan, I don't think I have the confidence to do this. That's because we've been indoctrinating with this whole idea that, like, for example, looking at the bigger picture, the way I explain it is this: is that when we're little boys, we are taught not to show our emotions. We're supposed to keep everything inside. We have to have that macho mentality. And then with the moms, as they want to be, when they're little girls, they want to be moms. And the message that we're sending out to them is, oh, by the way, you're going to marry this guy. He's going to be your husband. And then if he becomes the father of your children, he's going to be inept. You're going to have to show him everything. He doesn't have any nurturing skills. You have to teach him how to be a parent. And I'm thinking to myself, what an insult that is to moms. Because this is the guy you chose to be the father of your children. And then you start getting comments even from relatives that are telling you that, you know, your husband doesn't have the confidence or ability to be as nurturing as you.
Wow. And that's where the Dads Behaving Dadly series came from.
That's correct. I wanted to send a different message, more, because our campaign was that fatherhood is alive and well. Can we focus on other dads that are doing it well? And, okay, let's say for argument that you would like dad to do more than just be the provider for the family. Well, that just in of itself is a positive, because somebody's got to make the money to feed the kid and house the family. So a man has to go to work. I mean, he's got no option. He's got to earn the money. So now the question is, how can we help a dad better balance work and family so that he feels confident that he's contributing in his nurturing skills? And so we really haven't tapped into that.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey. I mean, the big Oprah is there, and was that a great way to give you exposure, a lot of exposure, or how did that happen? How did Oprah find you, or how did you find Oprah? How did that whole thing happen?
Oh, yeah, Oprah found me. What happened was, as I mentioned earlier, I did a lot of volunteer work, and at the time, back in 1991, I was kind of an anomaly, and I kind of coined the phrase, I came out of the pantry, because so many men at the time that decided to make that transition didn't want to acknowledge that they were at-home dads because of the whole masculinity stuff. So I get a phone call, and it's Oprah's producer, and they were doing a show on at-home dads. But they didn't know about my son Wesley, who was born with a rare genetic disorder. And I had done a Fathers and Sons documentary, which was on ABC. And so she saw the clip. And so, of course, if you see the clip on my Oprah clip on my website at www.dadlyrally.com, you'll see why she had me on the show. You know, I expressed my love and my commitment to Wesley. And so she invited me to come on the show. And what was really special about it, other than being there and sitting next to Oprah and hugging her and all that stuff, she gave me my son needed a wheelchair, and she gave me a brand new van from Daimler Chrysler with a wheelchair left in it.
Oh wow!
Oh
yeah.
my!
That's wonderful. And if
hey,
I was going to say that video was so touching. I hadn't seen it before. I mean, tears were just coming down because of I could feel the love that you put into that. And you're so candid, so real. And that's what I've always been so connected with you that way. And that's what everyone needs to see.
It was very organic, and I will tell you, it's the producers that did that. They asked every dad to just speak from the heart. And let me just tell you this. When people watch this video and they can say about how special I am, I'm going to tell you something. I have met so many dads. There are many more dads like me that are willing to show their vulnerability, that just want to be real. And that's why I started the DADLY rallies, because there's no forum that is safe and not judgmental for dads to just let their souls and hearts out. There really isn't. Guys just feel like the masculinity is going to be questioned. I mean, even at home, I remember, and to this day it still happens, when I do open discussion groups with dads, they share intimate details with me that they've never shared with their wives. And my heart just keeps dropping every time I hear that, because if you think about it, they don't feel like their house is safe enough. Because a lot of times when they share their feelings, it's followed with questioning their masculinity, criticism, how could you feel that way? I think one message I want to share to your audience is this, is that dads just like to vent, just like women do. You know, and we need somebody to listen to us. And all we need sometimes is a hug and not a lecture.
So what is the Dad Rally? Tell us about that, the DADLY Rally. What does that mean, and what does that entail? And tell us about what's happening in July.
Yeah, this is all a result of a conversation that I had with the Bear and Boo Children's Boutique owner, Sean Flood. Amazing man. We met last April and we spoke for an hour at a restaurant. And we started, he started talking about, well, we need to do something. Dads are underserved. Moms are indoctrinated with this message and the stigma about dads. And, it wasn't only just about helping dads, it was also about helping moms and helping them change their mindset about dads in a better way. And we said, why don't we put an event together that is more inspirational, that's got more positive message than some of these other fatherhood conferences that promote, that talk about how fatherhood is in crisis in America. They play the father absence card and we go like, okay, DADLY rally. So we came up with DADLY rally. And the format is a little bit different, and Sean has made a huge commitment. I mean, he wants to have a DADLY rally in every state in 5 years. So his level of commitment is there. The DADLY rally is good. It's like a fun event. It's part information-based. In the morning, we have local parenting experts that do workshops. And then what we do is provide open discussion forums for the dads, where they're just talking to each other, because we feel the best resource to have is other dads. As much as I want everybody to read my books, really the best source, just like moms, they talk to each other. We're trying to get dads to connect with each other. But the real point of the rally is for the kids. We're trying to help dads maximize their time with the kids, because some of them do have full-time jobs. We're trying to help teach them how to balance family and work. We also provide unconventional solutions to conventional dad challenges, strategies to strengthen family relationships with their kids. And, the biggest reason we're having the DADLY rally is really to show and teach dads how to have fun being a dad. It's just, this is a great time to be a dad. There's so many resources and places to go, like the DADLY rally now, hopefully. I think dads, and I think moms too, you get so engrossed with all the challenges that you have to deal with that you forget the one thing about being a parent. It's to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Watching your kids grow.
Yeah.
So where is this rally going to be? Where is the first DADLY rally going to be in Southern California?
It's not far from Nancy's house. It's
I will be there.
Yes. It's in Pomona, California, on the beautiful campus of the Cal Poly Pomona. And it's at the Kellogg Center, Saturday, July 16th. It's events from 8 to 4. And we have something special going on at the event. We have 2 comedians coming from Los Angeles, a dad comedian and a mom comedian. They are so excited to be there because, sometimes we have to laugh at ourselves. So we're going to end the event with a fun skit from both of them on the humor side of parenting. And then the last hour, we're going to just have free flow, kind of like a post-game show where people can just talk to each other. And we not only welcome moms, we encourage moms. Because as they're watching the dads, there's something they can learn by just the interaction that's going on. And they can attend some of the workshops. And then in the afternoon, while we have dads-only open discussion forums for the dads, what we'll do is we're hoping to get 250 dads there. We'll put them in small groups. We'll also provide an open discussion group for the moms. So if they come, we'll provide that discussion group setting. So one thing I want to ask your audience to do is, if you really want to help us erase the stigma of fatherhood and really prove to everybody that fatherhood is alive and well, help us reach that goal of 250 dads. Wouldn't it be amazing to have 250 plus dads at an event there learning not only how to be better dads, but to be how to be better husbands?
Mm-hmm. And building community. To me, that's so important. I remember I sought out other moms. I didn't have family, so I wasn't around infants. But it was my husband who was more nurturing at the beginning because he had nephews. He taught me so well. And together, sure, we made our mistakes, but everyone's got their story, and that's why I'm so attracted to you. It's like, yes, absolutely, fathers are so important. When we look back on raising our children, I wouldn't have traded any of the we talk about sacrifices, but it wasn't a sacrifice. It was time with our children. That's what they want from us, right?
Right. I would agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hogan. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no. I totally agree. And some dad had written me a quote, and he said, the best way to define love love is time, because that's all you write. Kids don't care about material things. They don't care about what car you drive. The bottom line is that they just love you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so blessed.
Whether you're a dad or a mom.
Exactly. And I feel I'm watching my dogs run around in the background.
They're actually listening.
But I feel very blessed. I mean, my husband is probably one of the best dads around as well. I mean, it is about time, time, and it's not about just being able to provide for your family. It's also providing yourself for your family, and I think that's probably even more important in many respects than the dollar. I don't know how you feel about that, Nancy and Hogan.
Oh, yes, I said, we had to sacrifice.
Well, let me.
Go ahead.
A lot of dads struggle with that because they think that the way to measure their value as fathers, they still think that it's about earning power, and so they're struggling with that. And I just thought of something for those dads that are in this audience and listening to this, and for those moms who think that their dads are wonderful. The DADLY Rally isn't just for dads that are struggling. The DADLY Rally is for dads that are doing things well. And I would encourage any dad that feels like he's doing well, which is okay to feel that way. You become a mentor for some of those dads that are there. So I don't want any of the dads that think, hey, I'm doing a good job, I don't need the DADLY Rally. Well, how about giving back? How about coming there not for yourself, but going there because some other guy you might connect with will look up to you?
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and we're going to do our part here with this show. We're going to make sure that your message gets out there. It's our message. It's not just your message. It's a message for all men everywhere, including our own husbands, including the men that are in our lives as well. And I applaud you. I applaud you for what you are doing and the work that you're doing, and that you've continued on this journey and this path that you're on. I mean, this is not just like overnight you decided, I think I'm going to do this. You obviously have been doing this, right, and experiencing it, and I really do applaud you. Let's talk a little bit about all these books that you've written. And I'm just going to read. You've got your DADLY book series. One of them was 67 Truths, Tears, and Triumphs of Modern Fatherhood. It was co-authored with Al Watts. What is that book about? What specifically would we get out of that book?
Well, that book came as a result of, I just got tired of all the dad bashing, and what I did was I reached out to my dad network on the internet, and the internet has been a great thing for dads because it gave them an opportunity to start connecting with other dads. And I just put out an invitation. I said, hey, would you guys want to share your story with me, like whatever you want to talk about? I was blown away I got stories from dads in Canada, United States, Australia, the UK, almost every English-speaking country started getting, and the stories go from a dad experiencing a miscarriage to dads of teenagers. dads of every family dynamics, income level, ethnic background, and basically it was a chicken soup for the soul type book, where I just gave to dads permission to write what they wanted to write about. And if you read the stories, they'll make you cry and they'll make you laugh. And one of the interesting things about the collection of these stories is that the dads were very honest about acknowledging their shortcomings, that they were struggling to be a dad and that they were working on ways to rectify their mistakes as they went along the way. And then we have stories from dads that talked about their fathers. I actually have a story in there about my reunion with my son, with my father, Hank. That was in Dads Behaving Dadly 2. So the collection of stories for Dads Behaving Dadly 1 was so successful that our publisher decided to do a second book. And this, again, just erased, you know, I always hear, well, dads won't share their feelings. And read these stories, and they will if you give them the right forum. And I keep thinking to myself, boy, you know, what an honor it is to have these guys trust me enough to be part of this book and just speak from the heart.
Yes. Yeah.
So we want our viewers to know that all of the books right down below in this reading are take a look at them, go check them out, because we know that this is something that our viewers are going to get a lot of value out. And so again, we encourage our viewers to take a look at this. Nancy, any last thoughts that you want to share with our viewers, and then we'll send it over to Hulk and to Hogan. Hulk. Do you notice I just said that? Oh my goodness! I just made you Hulk Hogan. Okay, there you go. Well, you are.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my goodness! There you go. Okay, I'm watching my dog.
They're wrestling back there. We have fun. My dog.
Oh really?
Oh my gosh. What can I say, Hogan? In fact, here's one of his books right here, The Dadly Way. Beautiful book. You've got emotions stirring in me. You know, thinking back on the precious years of raising our children, the legacy, and that's a word. I think of what you're leaving your children and all the dads that you're connected with, and the legacy that they're leaving there, so then they can be the dad that you have been. And that's what will heal the world, will create the understanding, the compassion, the support. And, you know, now being a grandmother, I'll be a grandmother of 4 come next, you know, unless she delivers it this month. And for me to witness my son having a child, and you know, he really liked your books, and start, you know, having this conversation with younger men. This is the ripple effect that you're creating. And I had a light bulb in my head wondering, we should get you on a TEDx stage. What you share will have that audience completely captivated. Your message is that powerful, and all I can say is I encourage you, and you know me, I'm here to support you all the way, and I will be there in July as well, so, and beyond. But thank you so much for the work you do, and I know you will keep going and going, and then you'll be talking about how to be a good grandfather or a papa, as my husband is. But that's an important part that has been missing. The extended family and how we can help one another. So yes, thank you so much. What a beautiful conversation we just had. Bless you.
Do you have any last thoughts for us, Hogan, before we say goodbye to Oliver?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me just say thank you so much for the kudos, Nancy. But I got to tell you, there's a whole long list of dads that are right next to me. I mean, they're the reason that I'm doing this. And you know, the dads that you don't see here on this video, they're helping me make this a reality. Also, I just want to share with you that our mission statement is really to strengthen and unify the parenting community. So the Dadly Rally isn't just about dads; it's really about helping moms as well. The only thing I have left to say is that children deserve the best in a dad as well as a mom. Together, let's rally each other to be the best dad we can be for the kids. The only way we can serve the needs of our kids is to keep on daddying.
Daddy.
Thanks again for having me on.
Daddy-o.
Oh my gosh, you are awesome. You are awesome. I want to thank you as well as Nancy has thanked you for being on with us today. This was a powerful conversation, and we want to thank our viewers because we know that you have a choice as to how to spend your time. And we want to thank you for spending time with us today on Connecting People, Changing Lives, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Connecting People, Changing Lives. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.